Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? Let's proclaim the greatest radio show.
Welcome, fans, to our Extra Bases segment. I'm your host, Jim Sella, in studio with co-host Jay Dash. We are on week 24 of our baseball coverage this year. I never thought in my entire life I would ever talk about baseball for 24 straight weeks.
Talked about baseball longer than that, man. We did it for like 5 weeks before the season started.
Trying to forget about those weeks, though.
But yeah, we're going to go over the Rangers and their sweep of the Astros to take the AL West lead.
Easy told me about this the other day. Not the other day, obviously, because it just happened, but I think it was last night. He told me that the Rangers were creeping up, and then I read an article, and how the Astros were so far ahead at some point in the season. How the hell did this happen?
Oh, look, remember we did a segment on the Rangers, and I mentioned they had the last wild card spot, and you were surprised that they had that at that point. So the Rangers...
they're doing work.
They had a good season, under the radar very much this season. But heading into this series, which was a 4-game series, by the way, so they swept them in 4 games. But heading into the series, prior to the series, Houston was 77-66, while Texas was 75-67, a game and a half back at that point. And like I said, Texas went in, took all 4 games, outscored Houston 33-13 in those 4 games. Now, game 1, it was Cole Hamels versus Scott Kazmir. Hamels went 7 innings and allowed 3 earned runs, while Kazmir went 7 innings and allowed 2 earned runs. So both pitchers pitched well. 2 are the better pitchers for each team. And the game was tied 3-3 going into the bottom of the 8th inning. Prince Fielder, though, he hit a 2-run homer to take a 5-3 lead, and that was the final score as well. Prince Fielder had a huge series, and he's had a huge year pretty much as well.
Was that game 3? He hit that monster shot, like almost into the upper deck.
Please believe.
Crazy.
Yeah, he had 2 home runs in that game. But in this game, he went 2 for 4, a jack, 2 RBIs, 3 runs. Mitch Moreland went 2 for 4 with a home run, 2 RBIs, and a run. He's been another offensive leader for Texas this season. Game 2 was Derek Holland versus Colin McHugh. Holland and McHugh both didn't pitch well in this game. Both let up 5 earned runs. Holland did it in 5 2/3 innings pitched. McHugh in 3 2/3 innings pitched. The game was tied 5-5 heading into the bottom of the 9th, though. Mitch Moreland, who I just said was a leader on this team, he had a walk-off sacrifice fly, gave the Rangers a 6-5 win in this game. Look at this. Prince Fielder, 3 for 4, an RBI, 2 runs, and a walk. Beltre in this game, 4 for 5, a double, 2 RBIs, and a run. His average has been creeping up as of late.
Who's better, Fielder or David Ortiz for their career?
Oh, David Ortiz for his career. I mean, he's been playing probably, 8 years longer, maybe?
So Fielder does this for 5 more years, and Ortiz
they'll
retires.
be close, yeah. It would definitely be close in the end, and I'd give the edge to Fielder if he can remain...
productive?
Remain productive and keep playing a lot of first base. I mean, he does DH sometimes already, but if he could just keep playing first base for a few more years at least.
Who's going to go into the Hall of Fame, Ortiz or Fielder?
Probably both. Ortiz. I mean, Ortiz is going to be in the Hall of Fame, no doubt. If you hit 500 home runs and are not connected to steroids, I mean, you should make the Hall of Fame.
Although he claims he's been the highest tested player in the league.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he did steroids. He's just a huge, fat dude. But game 3, Martin Perez versus the Houston Astros ace, Dallas Keuchel. Now, Perez in this game, 7 innings pitched, 1 earned run. Dallas Keuchel, 4 2/3 innings pitched, 9 earned runs.
Brutal. Doesn't sound like ace material to me.
It happens to everyone. We say it again and again, man. Aces get lit up too, and Texas is on a tear right now. They actually scored 6 runs in the first inning of this game, including
just gave up.
A Mike Napoli 3-run homer who they added after the deadline from the Boston Red Sox, and good old Rugged Odor hit a 2-run homer as well.
When Rugged Odor's hitting home runs off you, you just call it a day and go back to the clubhouse.
No, listen, man, Odor's had a good season as well. But Texas, they ended up winning this game 14-3. Prince Fielder, big surprise here, 3 for 5, 2 jacks, 5 RBIs, 3 runs. Adrian Beltre, another good game by him, 2 for 4, an RBI, 2 runs, and a walk.
Was he in L.A. for a while?
Beltre, yeah, he was in L.A., Seattle, Boston.
All right, see, I lost track of him after he left Seattle.
Yeah, he's always been a beast, though. He's been a multiple-time Gold Glove winner, and he already has over 400 home runs. This guy's going to be in the Hall of Fame as well.
Seattle gave him a real big deal after he played well in L.A., right? I think so.
Did he play for L.A. first or
I think
Seattle
he played
first?
for L.A. and then had a big year, and then played Seattle, and he had like kind of a down first half of his first year there, and everybody hated on the deal. And then he just quietly destroyed the ball again for the rest of his career.
All right, then moving into Game 4, Colby Lewis versus Lance McCullers. Colby Lewis, a good outing by him, 6 innings pitched, 2 earned runs. Lance McCullers, 6 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, so a good outing by him as well. Texas ended up scoring 5 runs between the 7th and 8th innings, though, to put this game away. They won the game 8-2. Fielder didn't get a hit in this game, finally. 0 for 3, a run, and 2 walks, though. So he still got on base 40% of the time. But Mitch Moreland, 1 for 4, a home run, 3 RBIs and a run. Adrian Beltre, 2 for 4, a double and an RBI. On the season, Fielder is hitting .313, a .383 on base percentage, has 21 jacks, 26 doubles, 83 RBIs, 72 runs, and has taken 55 walks compared to just 74 Ks and 550 at-bats. So
great average for a power guy.
It's nice to see him have a bounce-back season, too. I mean, he was hurt most of the season last year, but he still wasn't himself when he was healthy. It's nice to see him back. But 21 home runs, we thought he was going to hit a little bit more than that this season, and he still might. But earlier in the year, it looked like he was going to be up closer to 30 home runs this season. Mitch Moreland, he's hitting .283 with a .331 on base this year. 21 home runs, just like Fielder. 24 doubles, 77 RBIs, 45 runs, just 26 walks compared to 96 Ks and 417 at-bats. But he's having a great season as well. And the old man, Adrian Beltre, has got his average up to .273 at this point. It went up from around .260 not that long ago, just a few games ago, actually. He has 15 home runs, 25 doubles, 4 triples, 59 RBIs, 72 runs, and 32 walks compared to just 60 Ks and 505 at-bats. So this guy can still hit. But that's it. That 4-game sweep. And really, I mean, after the first 2 games, they pretty much handled him pretty easily in the second 2 games. But the Rangers, they're 79-67 right now. The Astros, 77-70, 2.5 games back of Texas. The Angels are just 5 games back of Texas and 2.5 behind the Astros. So there's a chance the Astros completely fall out of the playoffs here still, because the Yankees, they pretty much locked up the first wild, well, not necessarily the first wild card, but they did lock up a wild card spot, I would have to believe. So the Angels could overtake the Astros. Minnesota could actually overtake the Astros as well. They're 75-71, just a game and a half back of Houston for the second wild card spot. And even Cleveland, they're sitting at 72-73 right now, just 4 games back of Houston for that final wild card spot. That's who I'm rooting for too, man. I want to see Cleveland get in. I'm a big Francisco Lindor fan, to tell you the truth.
Love the engines.
But you look back at the trade deadline and some of the bigger deals for these 2 teams. The Texas Rangers brought in Cole Hamels. Now he's 3-1 with a .404 ERA in 55.2 innings pitched, allowing 56 hits compared to 16 walks and 48 Ks in 8 starts. So he's pitching all right with Texas. Houston, they brought in Carlos Gomez and Scott Kazmir. Now Gomez, he hasn't played very well for Houston. A .234 average, 4 home runs, and 145 at-bats. He did add 7 stolen bases, though.
He almost went to the Mets, right?
Yeah.
Oh, bet you they're glad they took Cespedes over
Oh,
him.
please believe. Now, Scott Kazmir, he is actually pitching very well for Houston, although he is 2-5 with Houston at this point. But he has a .306 ERA, and in 61 2/3 innings pitched, allowed 56 hits, 18 walks, and 48 Ks in 10 starts. So he's pitching well. But you look, since that deadline, since August 1st, the day after the deadline, Texas is 29-15. Houston, 19-24. Texas
Brutal.
has 10 more wins in that span. And if you look, you ask why. I mean, Texas, their pitching staff allowed 173 runs in that span. Houston's pitching staff, 170 runs in that span. So the pitching has been pretty similar since August 1st. But then you look at the offense, and Houston scored 178 runs compared to Texas scoring 207 runs in that span. A lot of that had to do with this series, but Texas offense is pretty good. They have Fielder, Beltre, and Moreland, we obviously talked about. And Rougned Odor is good too, man. 274 average, 14 home runs this season. This is still a young guy that he was sort of an afterthought to Jurickson Profar at one point. Profar unable to stay healthy. Odor stepping up and showing he is a major league player. They also got Shin-Sin Chu, who has been a great player over the years. He's hitting 267 with 18 jacks this season. Elvis Andrus and Delino DeShields have combined for 43 stolen bases. And then there's Mike Napoli, the guy I said they added after the trade deadline, coming over from Boston, one of those waiver deal things. He's hitting 296 with a 387 on base, 4 jacks, and 54 bats with Texas so far. So he has been playing well for him as well. You look, man, this offense, they're 4th in the AL in runs scored with 655. Now, the Red Sox have more with 677, but they're in last place in the AL East. So if the playoffs started today, I think Texas would have at least the 3rd best offense in the playoffs behind the Toronto Blue Jays, obviously, who have the best offense in baseball, and the New York Yankees, who have scored a lot of runs this season. I still say they play in a Little League ballpark, though. So Texas and the New York Yankees may have similar offenses, in my opinion.
A-Rod all day, baby.
But Texas, they have 3 home games versus Seattle and 3 games at Oakland before going into Houston for another 3-game series. So this division is not decided yet. Houston can still come back and win this series if they start winning baseball games right now. And Texas ends the season with 7 home games, 3 versus Detroit and 4 versus the Los Angeles Angels. Now Houston, they begin a 9-game homestand tonight with Oakland. Then they have 3 versus the Angels and 3 versus Texas, like I was just saying. So there's a lot to be decided here. But they end the season on a 6-game road trip. 3 at Seattle, and then look at this, 3 games at Arizona. They're playing an interleague series, the last series of the season, for some odd reason. But
so weird.
Look at this. So Texas plays 7 home games to end the season. Houston plays 6 road games. Texas 38-33 at home. Houston 29-46 on the road. So Houston really has to step up over this 9-game homestand, take 7 or 8 of these games, and then do what they can to finish the season, because they have not played well on the road this year, and it looks like Texas does have a leg up on this division now.
Astros, you just lost it. Garbage.
Well, Jose Altuve and Carlos Correa got to step up and lead this team. This is their 2 leaders, and still 2 very young players and franchise players. Houston's going to be good for a long time. This has really been their breakout season. They're still a young team. I think Houston has big things ahead of them. Maybe not this year, though. I mean, it was a surprise they were in first place pretty much all season. Nobody really predicted this coming into the season, and maybe it was a little bit too early for Houston. Are they even going to make the playoffs, though? It would be a letdown if they weren't able to squeak into the playoffs at
least. They're out. Rangers are going to win the division. Cleveland's going to get the second wild card spot. Come on, Tribe.
It would be nice.
Do it.
Let's not forget, too, Texas was a bad team last season. Going into the 2014 season, everybody was predicting Texas to go a long way, and they were a huge letdown. And it's not really a surprise to see him bounce back this season, considering Prince Fielder and the season he's having. And adding Cole Hamels at the deadline looks like maybe the biggest move of the deadline, just because Texas was not even in the playoff race at that point. They bring over Cole Hamels. Now, he didn't dominate with Texas so far, but he's definitely helping them win, and so is this offense. This offense has really picked it up, but it's a surprise to me that Texas is in it, but I'm glad to see it as well.
I just want to see Prince Fielder mash home runs and then Cleveland win the World Series. Cleveland and Pittsburgh, and the Pirates go down in 4 games.
They're 4 games back for the second wildcard spot. We're already talking about World Series.
Please believe, dude. All I got to do is sniff the playoffs, and I get excited. But that's all we got for you in our Extra Bases segment. Thank you, fans, for tuning in. You guys can follow us on Twitter at bet_the_spread and follow me on Twitter at betjimthewin. Check out the Facebook page at facebook.com/betthespread. Keep coming back to YouTube. Click subscribe. Love the spread. Be the spread. We are the spread.